Thank God it was documented that people came to Jesus watching him pray. And after he was done, they asked him, teach us to pray. Now I want to see what Jesus said. What did he say? Well, a lot of people focus on the Lord's Prayer, which is often misunderstood. I'm going to teach on it this month. But from verse 5, Jesus said something very important. Jesus was such a good teacher. He first explained it with an example. He said there was a man, and in the night, this man had an unwanted or an unexpected guest. And in Jewish tradition, it's against their tradition for you to have a guest that you don't offer something. So, but he wasn't expecting these guests. Now, what is he going to give him? I have nothing in the house. So in the dead of the night, he goes to his neighbor and he knocks. Jesus tells the story and he says, sorry to bother you. I have a guest. I have nothing to offer him. Please give me 3 loaves of bread. And the guy is like, bro, is your wristwatch broken? Do you know the time? You want me to come down and give you, please. I've already talked to my children in the bed. I cannot come down. And then Jesus says, even though he won't do it for friendship, because of his persistence, he will get up from the bed and attend to him. It is noteworthy that the first thing Jesus taught about prayer was perseverance. And it might not rank as high for you in terms of priority, but it does for God. And Jesus would have you realize that if you have not learned to persevere, you have not learned to pray. That's one of the first and most important things, perseverance. So in the school of prayer, one of the first courses you must take is perseverance in prayer. You must learn to persevere. So Jesus created an imagery of urgency. An imagery of urgency that necessitates a response. That's the perspective you must have to prayer. He taught on prayer both in chapter 11 of Luke and in chapter 18. In chapter 18, he gave another parable. This time around, it was a widow and an unjust ruler. He says the unjust ruler did not fear God and had no regard for man. But this widow, she must have been, people must have killed her husband and she wanted vengeance. She wanted justice. So she came to this judge and said, avenge me of my adversary. And he wouldn't listen. But the woman kept coming until this unjust ruler said, even though I have no fear for God and I don't regard man, but this woman will weary me by her coming consistently. So let me attend to her. And think about this. Put those two stories side by side and see how similar they are, but opposite they are in terms of the illustration. The first one had to do with 2 friends. The other one had to do with an unjust ruler. And so what he's telling you is this. Listen, and this is what grace people need to understand. When it comes to prayer, we are very position conscious, and that's great. You need to know who you are when you pray. But now there is another principle. Jesus is telling you, whether it is your friend, someone who cares about you, or someone who doesn't, there is something about prayer in and of itself, the tenacity of it, that commands a response. So in as much as in the place of prayer, you understand the person you are talking to is your Father who already loves you and is willing to answer you, you must also learn the principle of perseverance. That as long as I persevere and I keep on knocking and I keep on asking, listen, I will get what I want. That's one of the things that he taught first about prayer. I mean, think about it. Verse 9 of Luke 11, it says, keep on asking, you shall receive. Keep on knocking, the door shall be opened. What an imagery. He says, because everyone that asks receives. To everyone that knocks, the door shall be opened. If you learn to persevere in the place of prayer, your life will change.